You've just met someone and you've been talking for 5 minutes, but you can already tell they are amazing. In fact, they're the most amazing person that you've ever met. Your mind is blown. You feel so connected. You see them as almost perfect, having powers of connection and other abilities that you'll never touch. That's a projection. We call that a golden projection. Try this one on for size. You're at an event and you see someone and you look at his face and you already know, I hate that guy. That is a terrible person. I want nothing to do with them. I feel scared, I feel triggered, I feel unsafe. That's shadow projection, right? So projections is where we take some part of ourselves or someone from our history and we project it onto another person. Now, this happens everywhere, it happens all the time, and it will be happening in your circles, in your communities, right? It's where we take the features, attributes, behaviors, and patterns of one person and put them on another person and react to it, whether or not it's true. So, and a big part about relevant projection is there's a big emotional charge, one that you might be able to discern is disproportionate to the moment or the person. So, projection can cause all kinds of problems, right? In circles, someone sees someone a certain way, they feel triggered, they bring something along those lines, the other person is activated, they're not being seen, they feel misunderstood, they feel missed, they lash out, and now we're in conflict. Right? So this is a big part of what shows up in circles. So, how do we work with this? One of the ways that I like to work with this is to use a tool called Percept. Now, Percept is a very, very simple idea. It's a simple sentence stem. And it comes with, I'll get to the sentence stem in a moment, but it comes with a radical idea. I'll tell you a story to illustrate. So I have road rage. I get really angry in the car at all kinds of cars for all kinds of behavior, both tame and outrageous. And so I decided that I'd learned something, and I decided to see the whole world as a mirror. I wanted to see every person, or at least my perception of every person, as simply a reflection of that part of me. So I took a day, it was a day I was driving a lot, I think it was even a week, and whenever anybody did anything that I didn't like on the road, and it was easier to kind of project onto people in a car because we don't see their face. There's a way that we can dehumanize, at least for me. So I would wait for someone to do something that I didn't like, and I would point and I would yell. But what I would yell was, "That's me! I've done that! That's me over there too!" And it was a little harder in the moments where I saw someone doing something that I wouldn't do, but I knew that there was a part of me that would do it under certain circumstances. And it was so amazing. I found that I de-escalated my own anger so quickly by being able to acknowledge that the thing I was reacting to was a part of me. So that's the idea that's at the core of Percept. It's this idea of whatever we react to in others is a part of ourselves that we're putting on that person. So I'm not saying this is always true or is the right way to think, but it's useful. So the sentence stem is, right now I'm having you be a part of me that ... In the same way as a facilitator, if you set context for this, which I often do, especially in organic circling, this is a wonderful context to set for organic circling. I So what I do is I introduce this concept and then I'll ask people, what part of you do you have her being? What part of you do you have him being? And I set this in context, people will ask each other. And an amazing thing happens, right? People start to own their experience, right? People start to say, oh, I'm projecting this onto you. And what happens from there, because if we just leave it there, it can actually be a way to like subtly attack someone. If you're like, I'm having you be the part of me that's a total asshole and doesn't respect others, right? If we were to leave it that way, it can just be like a hit. But what we do, or what I invite you to do, is to begin to inquire, what's your relationship with the part of you that is willing to lash out against others, for example, right? What's your relationship? What is that part of you's relationship to you? What is it wanting through that, right? And circling them around their relationship to the part of themselves. So it's like circling someone on their relationship, but it's the relationships between two identities within themselves. And people on the receiving end can still take it personally. And then you get to take a look at what's their relationship with either the part of themselves that the other person saw, or who do they have the other person being? What part of themselves do they have them being? And this can be really, really, really rich. And it evokes some really, really rich conversation. But I really try and stay with having them explore to some extent their relationship with it and really own that it's them. So there's another tool that I use because sometimes it's more easily accessed through the sentence stem or the question, who do you have them being? What person from your past are you adding to this person in the here and now? And what was your relationship with that person, and what was their message to you implicitly? And how is that going for you? And as we explore this, suddenly there's so much depth. People are gaining a self-awareness of what they carry within. So let's say you're working with a new group and you're leading organic circling. I always introduce this in the context of organic circling because it creates a lot of safety in the group when people really have this tool to support each other in owning each other's experience and owning one's experience. And I like to set context similar to like I just did, right? This idea that like we can see other people as a part of ourselves. I always introduce this as a lens. I'm not saying that this is right or this is always happening, but if someone asks you or if I ask you, the invitation that I give is, I'm just inviting you to take a look. There may not be anything there, and there doesn't have to be. There's no pressure. And you might have an insight into like your relationship with some part of yourself. So part of why this is so important, I think, is for me, circling is embedded in a mysticism or a spirituality that I would describe as this invitation to welcome home all of our humanity, right? One of the highest values in circling is being with what is, right? With a kind and compassionate awareness. So in the context of this tool, it's one of the most powerful tools that can lead us down the path of welcoming home our unloved and unwanted parts, right? Because at the end of the day, projection is a distancing ourselves from some part of ourselves on two sides. One is shadow. That's me. I would never do that. There's no part of me that's connected to that, right? So we offload that onto other people. Or the golden side. That person's amazing, they're brilliant, they're skilled, they're beautiful. I'm nothing like that. That's all over there, right? And it's over there and up there, right? Unattainable. So on these two sides, they're both parts of ourselves that we've rejected in some way. Either I don't have it, or like I don't have it and I want it, or, oh, not me, stay way the hell over there. And so the last piece is that embedded in this idea is a radical concept that we have all of humanity within ourselves. Every part of humanity is contained here inside. And there's an opportunity for each and every part of us to be loved, to be welcomed home, or at the very least to be heard and inquired into.